At least see, girl, you acting like you got a fupa.
I do.
You don't.
Are we adjusting?
Oh, let me have myself.
Scene three, take one.
Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm Whitney. And welcome to the Planner Suite. So today we're talking about a very tough subject. This makes people walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
It makes people kind of back away. It makes people a little bit nervous.
Absolutely.
Shaking in their boots.
Yeah.
Budget.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of hate to talk about it, but we need to just talk about how much weddings are. So first of all, there's a huge misconception. Well, it's not even a misconception. People are having weddings every day, every week, but no one's coming back to tell you how much the wedding actually is. And I feel like they're not, because they don't want to be judged, right? They don't want to be judged if it's too expensive. They don't want to be judged if they like DIY'd or cut corners. But a lot of times I'm finding my brides are actually literally shocked about what it costs to throw a wedding and all of the different pieces of it. So we are here today at the Planner Suite to talk about what these prices really are.
And I think this is good because you said how brides are shocked and, things like that. Also, a lot of brides don't believe us when we give them numbers. So a lot of times we'll give them quotes and we'll give them numbers, and then they go behind our back and they go ask the same vendor. And it's like, they gonna tell you the same thing we said.
Honestly, I think that's one of the hardest things about being a planner right now is that the brides will go and think if they ask that vendor for the prices that it'll be cheaper, not knowing that when it's us and we're going to our preferred vendors, a lot of times that we can, and I'll never try and suppress vendors pricing because that's not what it is. But it could really be a conversation of, hey, they really want you, but it does not fit the budget.
Yeah.
Did you vibe with them? Do you want to work with them? If you could just come down maybe 500 to 250 or maybe cut a shooter and they're okay with that, can you work within their budget? And a lot of times they'll make it work.
Yes.
They really will. But just to kind of loop that back in with budget, let's just talk about it. Let's just dive into it and the price point.
Yeah.
So I want all of our viewers to just drop in the comments, how much do you think an average wedding is? Or if you feel comfortable, drop how much you are spending on your wedding and also the location as well.
And if you're dropping what you think the price is, I want y'all to be so for real. Think about the price of eggs. Think about the price of milk. Right. Be so for real when you drop this price.
Yeah. And then also when you're considering weddings, just think would you work for that price point? A lot of times I'll hear oh, I thought they were going to do it for $200 or I thought they were going to do it for $500. Would you show up at a party? Would you show up and watch other people party and drink for $500 on your Saturday? No, but really, that's a really big piece.
Yeah.
So number one thing here at Amy Cynthia Events that we do is we start with budget first. Yes. So if you are doing full planning or a platinum planning package, we're going to start with budget first, which basically means we're going to have a vision board meeting first. We're going to talk about your vision for the wedding, and then we're going to build you a budget before you even start. We're going to find venues that make sense, photographers that fit the look that you want, and et cetera. And we're going to present you a budget.
Right.
It's one of the most humbling meetings we have with a lot of our clients, right?
Yes.
We show you the facts with what you have presented to us. After you're done with that, then we start to break it down. And usually in that breakdown process, it makes them feel better. If we have to go into situations where we're not doing full production or other things, but we break it down for them and we kind of go from there. So I guess what we could do is we could kind of start with some scenarios we've had with budgets and then we can kind of go from there. So Whitney, tell me your favorite budget story with a couple.
You already know this story. Y'all, this was my first wedding. My first solo wedding. And the bride gave me a very low budget, to the point where I was like, okay, Amy, I'm really going to need your help finding vendors that fit in this budget because
she was hustling too.
Yeah. She was trying to be very cost efficient. But then I would bring her the vendors we found and she was like, well, I can spend more than that. And everything was like, just swipe. I got it. Just do it. Just do it.
The vendors were not matching the vibes, okay? They were not matching
And it
the
wasn't
vibes.
matching her real budget either. So she gave us this small budget, but she could actually do so much more. And it's not always that you can do so much more, because sometimes you don't want to do so much more. But she could do so much more, and she wanted to do so much more.
Right.
So I think the biggest lesson from that was like, be honest with your budget. That's the first thing I always tell brides. Be honest with your budget. If you know your budget is a smaller amount, just say that. And then we're able to find vendors that fit you. It makes it harder when you give us a budget and we find the vendors and you're like, ooh, that's still too high.
Right.
Be honest from the very beginning and give us your budget. Like, we're not here to judge you. We're not here to do anything. A lot of times we've probably worked with a wedding with that budget.
Yeah, we've really done it all.
Yeah.
We've done all sorts of different types of weddings. So something that we think is going to be a fun little segment for the planner suite is going to be what's the budget. So since this is one of our, beginning episodes, we have our producers that have put a budget into a bucket for us, put a couple budgets.
I'm nervous, y'all.
And they also put a location. Now, the producers don't know anything about well, I'm not going to say they don't know anything about weddings.
Because we planned some of their weddings.
Yeah.
Our producers. Planned some of their
Yeah.
weddings.
So I'm just going to say, so Whitney's going to pick it out of the bucket. And in the future, what I want you guys to do is send in to our email and we will have it on the bottom. I want you guys to send in your budgets, be honest, and then we'll review your budget and what you can get within that price point.
All right, let's see. Y'all, I'm so nervous. And the whole time, I'm not the one coming up with the vendors. Amy is, but I'm nervous for her. I'm nervous for her.
A word.
Ooh, 15K. And they said the 7.5 or Southern Virginia.
I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Do we want to do another one?
I'm so tired.
15K is
No, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to push this one away. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it. Because I'm not going to lie. I've gotten a 15K budget before.
Have you?
It didn't end up being 15K, but we're going to talk about it. Like, let's talk about what 15K can get you, right? So first, you're going to have to realistically find a venue that is going to give you a day space for $1,000 or less. Because once you add in all your other vendors, so the top things I always tell brides that you need for a wedding is you need an officiant, you need food, you will not have alcohol with 15K, a photographer for memories. You probably won't have a videographer either. Is your dress included?
But
in
like,
that
also
budget?
that's fine if you don't have a videographer.
That is fine if you
Yeah.
don't. But like, what does that 15K include,
Yeah.
right? So like, are you gonna have your dress in it, your tux?
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting each other the Cartier rings? Like, well, those are actually pretty affordable.
Yeah.
wedding
Yeah.
bands. But
Yeah.
like, are you getting each other rings?
Mm-hmm.
Are you driving away from the wedding, or are you having car service come get you? Like those are things that are really important. You have to think of, and then also your decor, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to have a 15K wedding, yes, you could pay a decorator, but that might eat up a lot of your budget. So I would say the top things that you can get is you have to be able to get a venue that is really, really costly. So like really, really cost efficient. So if you have a grandmother who lives on acres of land, like in somewhere in Virginia, I think this is a great option for you. But make sure the house is beautiful too, and it already has an arbor that's already really beautiful, so that if it rains, you can go in the house, because tents is expensive. Tents is expensive, right? And then maybe you're not doing a sit-down dinner. Maybe you're doing a cocktail style. So you don't need to rent tables and chairs. You can get cocktail tables. Guests can stand, just something like that. You have to be creative, right? And then if you're getting your dress in that budget, okay, that's probably going to take away at least the $1,500, maybe $2,000. And even if your dress is $800, you have to pay for alterations, and that's expensive. Your groom can get a tux that he can rent. That is fine, but you still have to pay for food, and eggs and milk is still expensive. So even if we're doing soul food or things like that, I mean, that's all still expensive, but you have to think about guest experience. So whenever I see couples with budgets that are, that cannot, I'm not going to say they're low, because $15,000 is still a lot of money to spend.
Right.
I'm going to say that again. $15,000 is still a lot of money to spend.
On a wedding one day. Yeah.
on anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's really like the thing that like I've been there, one, but I also understand that like when people are like, well, wow, that's so expensive. And I'm like, it's not expensive in the wedding world. It's still a lot of money. Like
Yeah.
$1,000 is still $1,000. And we get that.
Yeah.
But you have to understand that there's just some things that you can't get in this industry. Like I'm not going to the Louis store and saying, I only have $150. I'm not. I'm not.
Right.
I can't. I'm not going to make it there. I have to go with 5 stacks. Like I have to.
Yeah.
And in the wedding industry, you have to show up with those numbers to get what you want and to get that glam. So with $15,000, some things are just going to have to be cut, right? Now, there are some really cool like barn venues and other things out there that are awesome. There's some really nice like community centers and too that you can get. Not saying that you can't get married at like, you know, a hotel chain, like a nice
Yeah.
hotel chain, or you can't do a destination wedding or something like that. But here in Southern Virginia, you are going to have to be creative. Once you add your photographer, your food, your dress, a DJ, having a DJ out there, even if it's a family friend. I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing when you are looking at using a household as your venue, you have to think about a lot of things. Like you have to think about parking. You have to think about if there's going to be lights after dark. You know, do we need generators on that acre of land?
Yeah.
Like all of those things. A lot of times we have to build a venue at a
Right.
space that's not necessarily a venue. But if you are really just down to like keeping it the nitty gritty and we're in Southern Virginia and you're cool with getting married at the courthouse
Yeah.
in a nice outfit with a content creator and your photographer
Yes.
and paying him hourly, right? Hourly meaning you're not getting a wedding package, right? You're paying him to be at the courthouse with you, or some of them have like elopement packages
Yeah.
that you can
Yeah.
get. But being honest with your guest count. So like you just come into the courthouse, you guys are taking getting ready photos, and then you break up with them after that and you don't have reception photos. I definitely think that you can have a 15K wedding, but you
Yes.
have to be creative in what that is. And we've had a lot of couples do like after hours speakeasy weddings,
Yes.
rooftop
And I'll be
weddings.
honest, those are some of my faves.
Yeah.
Those are some of my faves
Yeah.
because it's intimate. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love those like unique weddings.
Or
like that.
backyard weddings where it's their backyard,
Yes.
where they get married at a different location. That is actually one of the most cost-effective ways to do weddings.
Yeah.
Go get married at a public location where you need a permit. You pay for the permit. You do pay for chairs and stuff.
Right.
Have everyone attend and then go home and do like a backyard reception. You could still get catering and stuff,
Right.
still get a DJ, but it's a lot more cost-effective than going that route. I don't know.
Want to
what's
do
your
one
ta-
more? Oh,
What do you guys think? We could do one more.
okay.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
I was really
It's like,
tired. on
Laura,
the
give us a high
15K
one.
though.
Give us a high one.
Please. 1.5.
150K here in Richmond.
Oh my God. Golden. 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 No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I may not, if I were to get that, like I wouldn't say that we would spend all of it, but I
Right.
think that if you are a glam bride and you want luxury and you want good guest experience, golden.
It opens the door.
It does.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about this because I don't think I talked about it on the last one, but let's talk about how much food and drinks actually cost for weddings. Let's talk about how much a chair costs for a wedding. Okay. So Shivari chairs are really popular right now. They're like the gold little with the 3 little rows on them with the cushioned seat.
We've been drinking a bit, y'all. It's okay.
Good though. I'm good. I've spit facts. Okay. But those chairs can run anywhere from $750 to like $850 per chair, right?
Per
and
chair.
then they have to be delivered. So there's a delivery fee. And then if your venue won't allow you to keep them overnight or you need to get it that night, there's a late night fee, right?
Yeah.
So they got to come pick it up. And then there's a damage waiver fee, right? Because you renting them. So if you damage them or you like, if you're throwing people up in the air with them, you break a chair, there's a damage waiver fee too. All things you need to keep. So it's not uncommon to get 150 Shivari chairs for about $1,800 to
Yeah.
$2,000, okay? let's talk about food and alcohol. Let's talk about those open bars, right?
I feel like that's the most costly thing.
Yeah.
Costly part of a wedding.
And the reason why I say that budget is golden is because when we have weddings, yeah, it's about you, but it's about guest experience, right? You want to give your guests an experience. And you want to give them the open bar, right? You want to give them a live musician.
Right.
You want to give them decor to take
Good
photos. You want
food.
good
Yeah.
food, yeah, or
Yeah.
a photo booth. What are the
Yeah.
top things? I need y'all to comment your budgets, but comment the things that you go to a wedding for. Is it the open
That you're
bar?
looking for, yeah.
Yeah, is it the open bar? Is it the food? Is it the photo booth?
Yeah.
Is it the DJ? Like, what is it? Is it the groomsman? That's
JK, and I was gonna say my mom going to weddings, she's always like, they better have good cake. She is always looking for like the quality and the taste of the cake.
And we have planners on our team. I'm not gonna lie. Not that we're just there eating your food the whole time. Oh, you have to pay for vendor meals. You have to pay for your vendors to eat. Let's talk about, and that's not free. That's not free either. Like some caterers are like, oh, you're serving steak. You got to pay for the vendors to have steak too. I don't eat steak though, so I'm just like, you guys know, maybe cheaper if you book us.
Hire her. All you gotta get her is a salad.
Right. but I will say this. Okay, so we're talking about cake. Like we have people on our team, they have to try the cake. They'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, the cake is dry.
Yeah.
It's not good. But just getting back to the budget piece, that price is golden because right now, if you are doing a wedding with an open bar, past hors d'oeuvres, or nice like stations for cocktail hour, a seated dinner, and some sort of dessert, you're probably spending $200 plus per head at your wedding. An open, the average cost, I'm not even going to say the average cost, but an open bar is $40 plus.
Yeah.
You know, so I would keep that in mind. And then also on top of that, the couple who can spend $150,000 on decor in Richmond, they are going to have a really great experience. They're going to have really nice decor. They're going to have good food, and et cetera, and a really good experience. I will say your venue, food, and alcohol is going to eat up a majority of that cost.
Yes. Alrighty. So you've talked about, you know, the world is your oyster with the 150K budget here in Richmond. What vendors are you choosing for them?
Okay. Before I say
Well, let's explain a preferred vendor.
Okay, so I'm not gonna say the world is your oyster because if you want a helicopter and fireworks, it may not fit in that budget.
Yeah.
And some of the vendors might get mad at me for saying that's golden, but I think that's a really nice budget. I'm gonna be completely transparent with you. I don't always see a 150K budget. We see all budgets, so I think that's a nice sweet spot for a wedding in 2024, 2025 in Richmond, Virginia. Okay, let's talk about preferred vendor. So a preferred vendor is a vendor that we have worked with before. Keyword, we have worked with before, right? That we know their level of expertise in their field, and we've seen their professionalism, and we've seen whatever they were supposed to produce or give back to the client come back.
Their quality
Of work. And we recommend them to our clients, right? Now, we can recommend other vendors to you, but they may not be a preferred client. They might just be someone that we recommend to you. So that is a preferred client or vendor. Now, in Richmond, who I would recommend, so I'm going to go down the list I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do decorators, bridal shower. I'm going to say there's a lot of really great decorators in this area and like venues. So don't get mad. This is spur of the moment if I don't drop you, but
Charge it to her head, not her heart.
right. I'll let Whitney tap in too. But of course, rental wives for like decor for small intimate events, etc. events. I love Chelsea with etc. Rose and Rye events.
Yes.
Love her. Balloons and things, Queen Factory. And there's a ton of different venues. I would say bridal shower, things like that. They can definitely I'm not saying don't go to them with 150K, but that's a separate budget. Okay.
Right.
Keep that 150K for your wedding. Okay.
Yeah.
That's important. Don't add all those other things into that budget because then it's gonna
eat it up.
It's gonna eat it up. But for wedding vendors that we love here, I mean, I'm gonna say, of course, my wedding florist decorator, the flower guy Braun, the event house. Love him. Love him. Like when you think about a vendor that is gonna produce for you and make sure that your vision board comes to life, I'm just gonna pause. Making sure that you book a vendor that knows and has produced a wedding to the level that you want is so important.
Yeah.
Don't ever spend all of your cookies and crumbs on someone that has the potential to give you what you want. Because you will be underwhelmed.
Yeah. And vendors love to say, I can do that. But ask for a picture. Ask for a video.
Or if they can't give you a picture, because we're gonna just stop. I was once a vendor that could not show them what I could do because everyone starts from somewhere, right?
True. Yeah.
But I gave people mock tables. I remember I used to have my husband clear out my whole living room. And then I would set up like the reception table. Like Lindsay would do the flowers, like have them show you that they could do it. But until then, if you decide to go with a vendor like that, go with someone. The Flower Guy Braun is absolutely phenomenal in the Richmond area, and the Event House for rentals as well.
Yes.
What about some photographers in the area that you would recommend?
In the Richmond area?
Yeah.
I'm so torn.
You could say 7.5 too, and you could say DC because they'll travel. I know who she wants to say. She wants to say it so bad.
I have a favorite, y'all. Myron Fields. What's his Instagram? M Fields Photography.
Yeah.
Recommend him over and over and over again. Whenever I get a couple that's like they are working with Myron, or whenever we get a couple that's like they're working with Myron, first of all, Amy is like, I'm gonna give it to Whitney because I love him.
She does. She loves him. And what we love about Myron is that he really advocates for his couples.
Yes.
And he will check us.
Yes.
So he'll be like, if we're like, oh, Myron, we have no more time, he'll be like, well, if you have no more time, then the couple has no portraits. and then we're like, oh, we can't post nothing on Instagram. He will humble us to like
but also the creativity.
Yeah.
I think I am very big on pictures. And I love a photographer who's creative, and Myron gives that.
Yeah.
He gives it for sure. And I'm trying to think of another. Chad
Lucas. We love Chad. We love Frank Soho Photos.
Yes.
Few Shots. We love Few Shots.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different people that we love for photography. And we're going to shout out vendors like, throughout the process. So we're not going to give you everyone right now, but we're going to give you those.
Sometimes we might bring them on here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to bring them. We're definitely going to bring them on.
What's another vendor they would need? Makeup.
Oh, makeup. Oh, yeah, makeup locally. I think this is a big one because I feel like in Richmond, we run to different areas to bring makeup artists in when we have some local talent here. So Society 1111, Candace and Brittany, they're a great team. They do it all, okay? They've added a bridal attendant to their service, which I absolutely love. Like someone who will stay with you. They'll change your makeup look, your hair look. They'll fluff your dress. They'll put your shoes on. And we do that too. But it's nice to have that extra person there to do it. So if there is an emergency we have to take care of at the venue, we can be there. But Society 1111 is great. Erica
the Fab Face.
Fab Face Beauty.
We got our makeup done.
Yeah, we did get our makeup done.
Beauty by Bree.
Yeah, Beauty by Bree did our makeup. Nicole Gore. She does makeup too.
Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal.
Crystal Amber Beauty.
Yeah, the Instagram names, Facebook. Yeah. I'm not good at it. Don't recommend.
Who else?
But if you guys need someone's name or anything like that, make sure DM us. Like you guys can always slide in our DMs. I'm not good with Instagram names, but I can send them to you.
Venues.
Oh,
did we discuss venues?
We didn't discuss venues, but I feel like we need a whole nother topic, a whole nother day for that.
Okay, we can come.
We're
back
not
going
to come back to venues.
Okay. But yeah, like you were saying.
Yeah, DM us, reach out to us, tell us everything about. What are we talking about? Budget? I forgot.
Let us know your budget. Let us know budgets that you want us to create a wedding for, because our production team gave us this, but future episodes, we want to hear from y'all. We want to be pulling y'all's budgets and kind of helping guide y'all. Yeah. So be sure to comment the budget that you have. Reach out to us if you want more information on a vendor we mentioned, or maybe it wasn't a vendor we mentioned and you're like, have you ever worked with them before? Right. Please reach out. We want to hear from y'all. You all are what makes our show so much better. So as always, follow us at Amy Cynthia Events and meet us back here
At the
Planner
Planner
Suite.